Fuck you, it's a podcast.
No,
welcome back.
You. It's a podcast.
I forgot that was our thing.
Yeah.
You named it.
I know.
That's what it is on the website, too. So now we have to... God damn it. We have to redo it.
You should have thought about
This is all staying in.
Okay. So what we're going to talk about is Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah, we're just spoiling the whole fucking movie. All
so, in the first scene...
Go ahead. Oh, but if you haven't seen it, fuck off. This ain't for you.
Yeah, this is a spoiler, Phil.
Or stay if you hate yourself. And also
Loki dies. Gamora dies. Spider-Man dies. Black Panther dies.
They did.
A bunch of people died.
A lot of people died. Turned into dust.
I mean, yeah. So the fucking movie opens, and everyone who barely managed to survive Thor Ragnarok is just dead.
They're like, oh, hey, those guys. Oh, fuck. It doesn't look good for them. Oh, shit.
I assume
Asgard is just a singular person and not a race of people.
Yeah, I assume Valkyrie's dead. She was on the ship at the end of Ragnarok, right?
Or is she? Ooh. I don't know.
I mean, now it's also Guardian of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's James Gunn.
Just Raccoon by himself.
Yeah, I mean, this is jumping ahead a little bit, but in the scene where Thanos throws Gamora off the cliff, I was just picturing in my head James Gunn like, oh, shit, like he's rewriting the script to Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in the middle of the theater.
Yeah, he's just sitting there with a fucking pen and papers like, oh, no, god damn it. And then he just like, it's just like red marks. He's just like, Raccoon circles it 8 times, and it's like, that's the movie, like Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Raccoon guy is all we have.
Yeah.
He dies in the first 5 minutes. The rest of the movie is just nothing.
Go Rocket. Yeah, it's just like 5 minutes of Rocket just doing some shit, and then just like 57 minutes of like a star scene. It's just like when you click onto those like TV channels that you use when you just have friends over, nature scenes. It's just that. Just around the fucking galaxy with nothing. Just everyone's dead.
The poster is like, has enough space to be a group shot, but it's just Rocket in the bottom right corner.
I also like at like minute 37.
He's holding a stick.
Yeah, at like minute 37 of the movie, I just want David Attenborough to come by. Like he somehow survived, and he's in the Marvel universe. He's like, yes, this is where Xandar used to be. It's now dust, and it's just him giving you a tour of the galaxy. But it's just like increasingly more depressing because he's like trying to talk about all the wildlife and shit that was there that now is just fucking gone. I don't know why they recruited me for this job.
Well, anyway, first scene.
Yes, first scene. Everyone from Ragnarok is dead.
Well,
except for that one person that got their slow threat.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's like a handful of non-important.
And then they died.
And then they died.
God.
Black Seer Man dies.
What?
Yeah, after sending Hulk back to Earth.
Yeah, Black Magic Seer Man dies after sending Hulk back to Earth.
And Hulk is a whiny baby little bitch throughout the rest of the movie. Because he got beat up.
In my brain, when they killed Heimdall, I literally went, not Idris Elba!
Loki died of erotic asphyxiation.
Did that affect anyone?
I don't know. Like,
Loki?
Yeah.
I mean, he's died so many times.
Yeah.
Exactly. Death in Thor Dark World was a great scene before they completely undermined it immediately 10 minutes later. So me seeing him die in this movie, I was just like, so is he just going to hop back up?
Yeah, is he dead or is he dead? No, I realized...
I think he actually is dead, but I think like everybody else, they're going to come back in the next movie.
I hope not. I hope the people that didn't dust, I hope the ones that died, stay dead.
I want Gamora back.
Yeah, well...
Slightly fine with Gamora being back, but everyone else dead.
Yeah, as far as how it's affecting me, I kind of was sad about it because it's Loki, but it's like I had realized instantly he's not coming back because they've already pulled that gimmick before, and this is Infinity War, and so it's like he got choked the fuck out by Thanos. Like this is it. He's dead. Like Thanos wants him dead. He's dead. There's no Asgardian magic that's gonna reverse this bullshit.
You tell me
there is the Infinity Gauntlet.
It took me like an hour. Like it took me till the scene when Thor was like, everyone's dead, where I was like, oh, Loki's probably actually dead.
Yeah. And then I don't know. I mean, I was kind of.
What if in like the last 5 minutes of the movie, it's revealed that the Thor we've been following the whole time was Loki in disguise?
It's Thanos sitting on the grass, and then it does the same thing as the end of the Dark World, where like the gold goes over him, and it's just Loki sitting on the grass.
Meanwhile, on Titan, Tony's sitting there, and all of a sudden he turns into Loki.
And
meanwhile, back on Earth, Steve is like picking up the dead, and he runs behind a tree to unmask his Loki.
They're all gathered in that group. All of them turn back into Loki.
In the movie post credits, Sam Jackson's Nick Fury's dead, and then the random chick's dead, and then just like pans over just one hot dog vendor that just doesn't understand what the fuck's going on. Turns out it's Loki. Yeah, it's Loki. But the plot twist is that it's not actually the hot dog vendor. It's Loki is literally a fucking hot dog in the cart. That's where he was hiding the whole time. I'd pay good money for
Loki's just like, I don't even know what my plan was.
Like, honestly, I'm just here.
I did like in that first scene that like immediately just get it out of the way. They just had Hulk fight Thanos.
Yeah.
It's just like, how strong is Thanos? This strong.
Like you go in expecting Hulk to be their last line of defense because that's kind of what he was in every other Avengers. And then he just gets his ass handed to him immediately. And that's, I think, pretty clever.
And like, it doesn't even phase Thanos. Like, he just kicks the shit out of him.
I was like, no, I'm a big boy.
And so Heimdall sends Hulk to Earth and then dies. And then...
Like a bitch, too.
Not Idris Elba.
Not Black Spaceman, no.
Not the one black spaceman.
Yeah, not the one black guy in all of Asgard, I think, by my counts.
Let's see. Then after Hulk goes back to Earth, he meets Dr. Steven Spielberg. And let's see. Yeah, you go ahead.
He meets Benedict Cumberbatch and Wong, played by Wong.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was his actual name to the credits. I was like, it's the guy. That's the guy.
But
it's actually Wong. Sorry, I got really highlighted the movie for me, boys. It was finding that out. Climax right there.
And then they immediately go grab Tony, and Gwyneth Paltrow is in the movie for about 5 seconds to make $1 million.
I'm Gwyneth Paltrow. Paycheck.
I'm not pregnant. Okay, I'm done.
That's it. I'll take my $1 million now.
Sign up that loose end. Thanks for doing that. All right, back off my set now. Here's your $1 million.
If we give you $500,000, will you also do a voice recording? I'm not pregnant.
Tony, come back. I'm not pregnant.
And then let's see. So Stevie Boy and Wong and Bruce all goes to Tony, and they're like, "Hey, you got to call your pally because the big guy's coming." He's like, "No, I'm being a little. We had a fight, and that's it."
I love it in that scene too.
Even though he already forgave me, I don't want to call him.
He doesn't explain it to Hulk at all either. He's like, "We had a fight. Now I'm kind of embarrassed." Like, that's all he says.
And Hulk's like, "What?"
Hulk's like, "I think they're fucking ball right now." And Tony's just like, "No, it was bad."
I know I'm always angry, but you're pushing it.
We had like one fight in a parking lot.
It was pretty big deal. It was a pretty big deal. Some teenagers
hit me with his shield.
And I recruited a teenager to endanger his own life. And here we are.
I tried to hit his friend, and then he said that his friend was his friend, and I wasn't his friend.
That hurt my feel wings.
He didn't really say that I wasn't his friend, but I said we weren't friends anymore. And then he gave me this cell phone that I apparently keep on me at all times, but I'm still not going to call him.
Also, the stair car from Arrested Development was there, and I don't really understand why. But
anyway, like within that minute, Thanos shows up. Well, one of his lackeys shows up.
Yeah, Well, I was going to say one of his boring, forgettable henchmen, but it's really the one interesting henchman and then a boring, forgettable henchman.
And then big dumb guy and Squidward show up. Squidward was interesting.
I like Squidward. Squidward's the one henchman that I was like, this guy's cool.
I have no idea what his actual name was. I can't remember it for the life.
He's just forever
But
Squidward.
Tony calls him Squidward, and he was Squidward.
I think his name's like Ma or something.
He was in the comics.
Yeah, I think it's Ma, actually.
But then, so those two show up and start fucking up New York, and all the New Yorkers are like, enough with this shit.
Bada bang.
They're like, it's been 6 years, leave us alone.
Spider-Man happened to be in the area, and it was like, hey, I'm Spider-Man. And I mean, Hulk doesn't want to come out. He's just like, no.
I like that line where like he's like trying to Hulk and it won't go, and Tony's like, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards.
I wish it was fleshed out a little more, but I liked Tony and Strange's dynamic.
Yeah, it was good because, I mean, a big
They're the same personality.
Yeah.
They're also from two different worlds.
Yeah, and it felt like there was enough difference between them to make their interactions interesting.
Yeah, but also they had the same facial hair.
Yes, they did. Actually, I think that they slightly shaved Tony's connective thing to not give them the exact same facial hair. I noticed that on the spaceship. I was like, did they change Iron Man's hair a little bit so they wouldn't look exactly the same?
I'm still a little sad. I mean, I know you said you're glad they didn't do it, but I really wish they squeezed in one little no shit Sherlock.
It would have taken me right out of the movie.
Yeah, I would have appreciated it, but it would have, it would have been the wrong reasons.
It would have been a groaner. It would have been
does anything actually happen with that one big, strong, dumb guy that gets flung into the Arctic?
Yeah,
is that just the end of it?
No, he comes back. He dies at the end.
Yeah, he comes back for the Wakanda
Oh,
fight.
yeah. I just remember, like, he goes in, his hand cuts off, and then I don't remember anything else about him until when you told me he comes right back at the end.
Yeah, it's like he's boring and forgettable.
Yeah, it's almost like he doesn't have a personality or motivation or any lines.
And I really felt like he was there to fight the Hulk, but the Hulk isn't in this fucking movie.
Yeah, he's in there for the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, he gets his ass kicked real quick to establish that Thanos ain't fucking around.
Yeah, it's good.
And then, Strange has put a magic seal over his Infinity Stone so that no one can take it, and it hurts Squidward. And then, and then Squidward steals Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man, Iron Man follow him to save Doctor Strange, while Hulk calls Captain America.
And
right?
Wong just doesn't want to do anything, so he hangs out.
Yeah, Wong does just fucking leave. He's just like, and that's my 10 minutes. Goodbye.
Paycheck.
Can you imagine being fucking Steve too? Like, he finally gets his call from Tony, and he's like, God, you're a dramatic little bitch. And then it's just Hulk.
Hi, I heard some shit happened. It's not important.
And Steve's like, put Tony on the phone. Tony's not here, but
Tony's doing space shit. I was kind of hoping you could come help with the space shit.
If you don't mind, could you possibly come do the thing with the shield a few times to just maybe
shield broke. I'm sorry, what?
Shield broke. Shield machine broke.
Tony has the shield. I don't know where it is. Oh fuck! Tony's in space. I don't think I can call him. What do you mean Tony's in space? Oh yeah, there's a lot of shit going on right now.
Like Squidward cam.
Yeah, emo Captain America. If you could just drop by for like 5 minutes, we'll just catch up. We can hash this shit all out. I mean, I appreciate the gothic aesthetic he got going, but we have some real shit that's happened.
Solid America.
Where does it go from there? Does it go straight to Guardians meeting Thor?
I feel like that's the case.
I want to say, I mean, it's pretty close. Like afterwards, because they set all the scenes up really quickly in the first couple minutes of the movie, and it's real fast, and then it goes And somewhere, I think right after the thing where Wong just says, nope, and then fucking disappears, I think is where the Guardians come in. So I don't think they show up before that, but I know they're really early in the movie. But anyways, yeah, so the Guardians show up and pick Thor up, and Thor does a cool magic trick where he scares the shit out of him by smacking the glass like a bug and then opening his eye, which I thought was pretty great. And then they bring him in.
And he gets a poop eyeball.
Yeah, and Thor still doesn't understand basic concepts about how things work, which leads to much jokes. I also appreciate how he keeps calling
he tries to steal Star-Lord's girl accidentally.
This is like 75% a Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Yeah, it definitely feels
fair.
like.
Yeah, I'd say it's like Guardians 2.7.
It's a lot of Guardians, which I guess makes sense because they all did. But but
also Guardians were kind of the biggest setup for Thanos.
Yeah, and they definitely have the most connection with him pre this movie, so it makes sense. And they're in space, and where Thanos has to get like 2 of the stones, even though he gets one of those before the movie starts. And they're just like, yeah, he wrecked that fucking planet. And they're all like, oh.
Yeah, remember that planet? That really fun planet? Fuck you. It's not existing anymore. So we're moving on now. I feel like now that you mention it, it just felt more like it was a giant Guardians galaxy. And it's like, oh, hey, look, Spider-Man. Neat. And then it just cuts back to the Guardians. That's the whole movie. It just kind of keeds going back until the end.
Where does it go? Oh, so sorry, go ahead.
It's really crazy how long this movie is, because it's clearly like pushing to its breaking point, because it moves really fast. Like, I think the only reason that the movie works is that it is as long as it is with its pacing. I feel like if it was a shorter movie, it would feel super rushed, but because it is like 2 hours and 40 minutes, it's like the pacing works, you know?
Yeah, I think it's really impressive how well they managed to do like a 50 billion character movie where every character is a main character in some way.
Yeah, it was a long movie, but it still felt fast. Like it didn't feel long to me. I was kind of surprised when it was over and it was as late as it was when I went to go see it, because like Pac said, everyone gets the amount of screen time I feel like they need it, more or less, to get it to
everybody gets at least one moment of, oh, they're cool.
Yeah, like, hey, that guy still is cool. Great. And moving on, next guy. It's just, you get everybody. But I kind of like how they did that, though, because in a way, knowing sort of the whole concept of the story, it felt nice they did that, because in a way it's like it's giving everybody screen time, but it sort of also in a way gives you time to say goodbye, because you don't know who's going to die yet. I mean, if you read the comics, you kind of have an idea, but the MCU is its own thing. So I appreciated that, because it gave you just enough time to connect with all the characters again and get invested, but then also be worried because you don't know how this is going to turn out for these guys.
Okay, the same.
So, sorry, I was grabbing another beer, but I was listening. So Thor, completely different character. Thor takes Rocket and Groot to go off to make a new murder axe to replace Mjolnir, and that's for that scene.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna immediately go into talking about that, but
no,
that's like an oddly long way into the movie.
Yeah, they just set up that scene, and the Guardians decide to go to nowhere from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie to try and get to the Collector to get that Infinity Stone away from Thanos. And I think it's here. These two might be out of order. Hell, I might get half the movie out of order. But I think it's here where they cut to Wanda and Vision, who are secreting away to fuck in Scotland. And Vision appears as Paul Bettany for the first time. He's been here since the first Iron Man movie. It's the first time we actually see him. And then
I disconnected for a second. Who do we see?
Oh, Paul Bettany for the first time. Like, he's been the voice of Jarvis since the first Iron Man, and it's the first time we fucking see him. And then they immediately get attacked by 2 more boring henchmen.
Hey, I liked the one with boobs.
That's nice.
She was a warrior lady. You know what I'm about.
And they immediately take down Vision, who's like the strongest character. They just
But it was a surprise attack.
Yes, but I'm more complaining from a writing point. Like, I feel like he was just sidelined so that they wouldn't have to deal with how strong he is. And then this fight scene's okay.
Yeah, the one where Cap and friends show up.
No, at that point it becomes fucking awesome. Everything.
Oh, you mean the part where Wanda is like blasting them to bits?
It's all right. I kind of like that it's clear that they're like actually warriors that don't rely on their strength because Wanda's like not able to keep up with them in the slightest.
And then what it takes to actually take them down are skilled warriors.
Yeah, and then when Cap and Black Widow show up, they can't hurt them, but they're completely equal. Like they're fighting them with their own weapons, and it's an actual fight. This is also like the only point in the movie where Captain America did anything cool.
What about when he gets the new shield?
Who cares? Like, this is he's like the leader of the Avengers, and this is like his one cool moment. Like, he's so little to do in this movie.
After that, they end up going back to War Machine's house, which is the Avengers HQ.
Yes.
And then War Machine is just like, okay, here, fuck the government. And then everybody's happy.
Yeah, basically.
That's the whole say.
It is. And like William Hurt's just there to be an asshole. He's like, I'm still in these movies apparently. Fuck you, Captain America. And Captain America's like, Rhodey, could you tell him to fuck off? And Rhodey's like, oh yeah, excuse me. Fuck off. And then just hangs up. And then
like, wasn't there a joking punishment that Captain America got demoted?
Maybe. I don't remember that. I think that at this
maybe
point,
he was saying he gets demoted. I don't know. Oh, fuck it.
At this point, they're just like, fuck it, let's go to Wakanda.
Yeah, they're like, we'll get the magic rock and we'll just break it because we can do that.
Oh, yeah, that's why they go to Wakanda. They're going to take the stone out of Vision's head and break it.
Without killing him.
Yes, because...
How do you think he's going to come back next movie?
I don't know if he is.
Yeah, I think that one is...
I mean, there has to be a reason they left his body.
Well, so, I don't know, because the whole point they were making is the way that his conscious works and the way he works is that it's intertwined with the stone, but it's also, it's Tony and it's Bruce.
Well, if that was the case, they wouldn't have been trying to remove the stone.
No, but the point of it was they were removing this. They were trying to rewire his neurocircuit so that they could safely remove it without harming him. And then Thanos came in and said, fuck you, and then just ripped it out of his head, and then he looks like he died. So
yeah, but they were mostly done.
They make it sound like they got pretty far, but it was still...
I don't think it works that way.
Yeah, it's not like
I don't think that you could be like, I got like 90% of the way through separating it from your brain, so now you're fine.
Yeah, hey, I was doing some brain surgery.
That's the kind of shit comic books pull. It's like, I was mostly disconnected, so I'm fine.
Yeah, but I don't know. With the exception of the Loki bullshit, I don't think...
I'm just saying, don't put anything past...
I'm not, but knowing the MCU and like the few punches they pulled, though, I don't know if he's coming back. Like, I could see where he would, because it's like, he's kind of a big deal as far as who he is and all that. And it's fun to see him around, but I feel like what's probably going to happen with Infinity War 2 is that they're going to do the whole thing of the Soul Stone where all the guys like are put there when you take their souls with it. But his soul wasn't actually taken when all that shit happened. So I think he's just dead.
You think Vision is the Mind Stone and he's going to fuck the Infinity Gauntlet?
Wait, you think Vision has a soul?
No. That's my point. Is my follow-up to that was I don't think in the context of how I believe personally they're going to try to bring people back, if they do try to bring people back, that Vision can't come back.
Listen to my shitty fan theory. Vision is now the Infinity Gauntlet.
All right, go ahead. How do you think
Vision
is come back?
in the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, if you think he's coming back, how do you think it's going to work then? Like,
he's going to unsnap the fingers.
I hate you.
They're gonna zoom in really close when
his
Thanos
Mind Stone powers to change Thanos' mind.
Turns out it was
when
just Loki
Thanos
all
snapped
along.
his fingers. It's just a tiny vision in between his fingers, keeping them from touching.
Ant-Man, is that you?
So I think Ant-Man's going to save the world next movie.
Is Ant-Man gonna be in the next movie?
No, I don't think so.
Between this one and the next one.
Well, no, his movie happens before all this shit happens.
Wouldn't it be fucked up if at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, they're like, yeah, we did it, high five, and both of them just turned to dust? It's just another fuck you.
Real credit.
Or just one of them.
Which one would be more?
Well, considering the dude is like lost fucking everything.
He
I think losing the girl
goes to pick up his daughter and she just turns to dust. That's the end of the movie.
in his arms.
Yeah.
Or it's just a fuck up. It's like only half of them is gone. But like,
Yeah, there's like an odd number of people on the planet, and his
Yeah.
daughter is the one person who half disintegrates.
yeah. And then, but he himself somehow like manages to not completely disintegrate. Like, but it's like one arm, a leg, and his dick are just gone now. So he can't. That's it. That's game over for him.
They call me Hobbles in, man.
Yeah. But serious question about that though, because if it's supposed to be half of everyone, right, and you have like an imperfect fraction, do you think there's like some people in the universe of each race that are only partially disintegrated? He's like, all right, you're now 3/5 of a person. You don't need as many resources.
Is it half of the total number of the universe? Half of each race?
Well, he says he's never killed off more than half of a planet's population, though. I think didn't they make that point early on that was how he operated, and so his whole thing was he wanted to eliminate half of the galaxy. But I feel like you could also do that by if you're limiting the half of each population on a given surface of a planet, it's still.
What if there was a race out there in the universe that there was only 2 members left of, and they were like the dying mates, and they just wanted to be together in their final days, and one of them just disintegrated with no explanation?
You mean pandas?
Even worse. It's like they're the only 2. They're like, all right, we're the only hope for this race. We're gonna have to procreate, and they're like, all right. So it's like they strip off. It's like this romantic scene. There's candles. There's like slow music. It's like right before penetration.
They have twins, and then the twins just disintegrate.
No.
No, it's twins. The mother disintegrates, and one of the twins disintegrates, and the dad's like, well, now I gotta fuck you. We gotta fix this.
That's significantly more fucked up than what I was gonna come with. My thing was just like right as he's like getting ready to penetrate, it's just like turns to dust. Dick just goes through dust cloud, and that's it. He's like, well, fuck.
Right as he comes, it's just like,
I killed her.
I'm so good.
Lady.
What scene are we on?
So the Guardians go to nowhere. Okay, wait, before this, Gamora makes Peter promise that if Thanos has her, Peter will kill her.
Because she knows where the Soul Stone is.
Yes, and it's the only stone Thanos doesn't know where it is. So they go to nowhere, and Thanos is interrogating the Collector. Is interrogating the Collector to figure out where the Reality Stone is. Which earlier when he killed Loki, he's got the purple one from Guardians and he gets the Tesseract from fucking Avengers. So he's got 2 of them. And so he's going for the Reality Stone, which was in Thor 2. Was it the Dark World? It's the Ether, right?
Wasn't it in
Dark Elf shit?
Oh, was it? For some reason I got that confused with the Power Stone.
Yeah, the Power Stone's the Guardians one. So he's going for the...
Yeah, I think it was Ragnarok. Or not Ragnarok, the one before Ragnarok.
Yes,
Dark World.
The fucking worst Marvel movie. Oh god, that movie's bad. So they go there, and Gamora goes up and fucking kills Thanos in like 30 seconds. And Thanos is like, bitch, you thought? And like shows that they're already too late, and he's already got the stone, and none of this matters.
Once he has the Reality Stone, why did he need to put forth effort for any of the others? Couldn't he just decide that he was in a reality where he had all the stones?
I don't think it's that strong. I
don't know. The ability to control reality sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah, but all it seems to give him the power to do is create illusions and what?
Like flashbacks. Because that's the main thing he uses it for.
He creates...
He flashes back Titan, he flashes back the Collector.
Yeah. It's like, well, I don't even think those are flashbacks. I think they're illusions.
Yeah, they're flashback illusions.
Okay. So it does that, and I think it's also the thing that lets him fuck up people's bodies in this scene. Because that was really cool, where he like turns Drax into meat puddles and Asian lady into ribbons.
She's not Asian, she's from space. There's no Asian in space.
Mantis, that's her name. He turns her into ribbons, which with both of them immediately in the scene, I was like, did he just fucking kill them?
Yeah, that's what I thought at first too, and I was going to be very impressed.
I was like, oh, that's, well, A+ for effort. That certainly was interesting to see.
I was going to be really impressed with the movie if they just flash killed those 2 characters. Like, I was like, whoa.
I mean, considering where it goes, they might as well have done it there.
Yeah, it had a lot. Well, no, the final sequence has a lot of impact. But when it just happened like that, like Drax just turned into pieces, I was like, holy fuck.
He did.
You know he did.
He did.
And then Thanos, I wanted to call him Thor. Why am I fucking up these two characters? Thanos grabs Gamora and she's like, Peter, I need you to not be a bitch. And Peter's like, but I love you. Well, no, she says it first. But he's like, but I love you. And she's like, I know, that's why I need you to not be a bitch. And Peter's like,
okay, I'll try not to be a bitch. It'll be the first time.
And then Thanos immediately takes it away from him and turns his gun into a bubble gun.
Just fucking punked him. Holy shit.
It's one thing if he just made the gun not fire, but he turned it into a bubble gun. How demeaning is that?
I love it. He's like making.
It's like completely emasculating.
That was like the equivalent of just fucking dunking on him. Like there's no coming back. Like you have a bubble gun. Fuck you. You're just wasting my time. Please leave.
It's like him pulling the trigger and nothing happens, and he looks down and it's just like a big floppy dildo.
I love it too because Thanos punks him like that, and then Thanos just like laughs and is like, "I like you, kid," and just leaves.
It was fun. We should do this again next Tuesday.
It's like literally, I think that's the exact line. He's, "I like you," just leaves.
He says he turns to Gamora and says, "I like him," and then they just fucking leave. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what happens. And then after they leave, fucking Drax stops being Drax cutlets. Manus stops being spaghetti noodles, and then they all just sort of come back the right way, and then they just move on to the next
just
thing.
like, oh my god.
Yeah, Peter's like, well, shit.
And I was like, well, okay, they are dead. Okay. God, where does it go from here? Okay, so Thanos has 3 stones. What's the next stone he gets? He gets the Soul Stone. So that's a little bit later. So I think here is where we cut to Doctor Strange being tortured.
Yeah.
So
Being tortured, he's on the...
Moth's got these fucked up space scalpels, right? Like, isn't that what he said they were? They're for, like, really precise surgery. They're, like, super thin needles.
So they're on the ship. There's the needles everywhere. Surgery is being implied.
Yes. Spider-Man's like, hi, I'm here. And Tony's like, motherfucking kids, God damn it, fuck.
And then it's, Mr. Stark, I have a plan that involves shitty humor about kids not knowing old movies.
This bothered me even more than it did last time. Cody, did you see Civil War?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Do you know anyone who would prefer, who knows Empire Strikes Back and Aliens well enough to reference them, who would refer to them as that really old movie?
No, because it's like, it's not even that old. So when he...
Oh, no, it's fucking old.
It's old, but
it's old.
like...
It's just a cultural icon.
Yeah, it's like a cultural icon that they're trying to poke fun at, but it just seems like I fucking know what Aliens is. Like,
felt so
most people on the
forced.
street do. Yeah.
Like,
My brother hasn't even seen Aliens, but he knows Aliens.
I feel like it would be way more realistic if Peter was just like, okay, I've got a plan. You know that scene in Aliens? And I would laugh more.
Yeah.
I would find that funnier than him being like...
I would find it funny if the implication was that he was saying it just to give them a hard time. Like, he was just making fun of the old people.
Yeah, I mean, that would be funny, but I think it's played too straight. I think it's literally just, millennials.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. I think it would have been funny if they just twisted it slightly in that direction.
Yeah. So, yeah, the line just falls flat for anyone under 30. It's just annoying.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. And then it's like, there's a giant... So then you deduce, okay, well, the giant hole in the thing getting sucked out of the hole somehow has some connection to this really old movie he's referencing. Great, moving on.
Yeah, you don't remember the scene where...
No, I do. I'm saying, wait, the way they set it up, like Alex said, it's just like, it went over people's head. I would have much rather than to say, oh, yeah, you know that scene from Aliens? Because it's like, oh, okay, everybody can kind of, like, gets it, you know? And
I still didn't even know what their plan was until they did it. And then I was like, oh, that is like that scene from Aliens.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. Like, I'm like, what? Well, are they going to fucking set it on fire? Like, what are they... I'm thinking of all the shit they did in Aliens. Like,
did they find a giant, like, mech suit in the back of the ship that they didn't tell anybody about?
Are they going to bring Sigourney Weaver out of somewhere? Like, I am going to be pleasantly surprised.
I would have came in my seat.
I would have just been like, all right, now we have ourselves a fucking movie.
Why? She was already in Defenders and she sucked.
Shh, let me enjoy my things, you fuckhead.
Baxter, did you fucking forget?
I forgot. I kind of just like half paid attention when I watched Defenders.
Yeah, that's about what Defenders deserved.
So I didn't really watch again. So I haven't watched much of any of this shit on Netflix or any of that because I don't have the time to watch 37 hours of something that has nothing to do with the MCU. But
Sigourney Weaver was like one of the main villains, right?
Yeah, she was like the main villain.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. Is like, what the fuck did she do? She's just a villain. Okay.
Yeah, and then she just gets killed off by Elektra.
She was like an ancient immortal ninja thing.
Yeah.
But she decided not to do ninja stuff because she's old.
Yeah. Hey, Sigourney, we got this paycheck.
And then she gets killed by Elektra. And Elektra's like, I just do shit.
Now I'm the main bad guy.
Hey, Sigourney, we understand that you're older.
Matt and they die.
But we need somebody who's mildly recognizable, but we don't have the money to like actually get someone really famous and like current. So could you just come die real quick? We'll just say you're a ninja, but it doesn't matter.
She's in like a whole series.
Yeah,
she's almost
like
episode.
7 of the 8 episodes.
Okay.
And her death was, I mean, this is going off of Infinity War. Her death was kind of annoying because it was supposed to be like the adaptation of a classic Elektra moment where she stabs someone from behind with her Raphael knives. I don't know what those are called. But like, what are they?
Sai.
Sai, like S-A-I?
I believe so. I don't remember how the spelling is, but I remember how to pronounce it because I remember learning it from Ninja Turtles.
Yes, with her Raphael knives. She stabs her from behind with her Sai, which is like a classic Elektra moment. Like, it happened back in Frank Miller's run where she was introduced, and there's a great new version of it in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics where she does it again, and that time it totally worked. But in the show, like, she just does it, and I get that like real physics doesn't work like comic physics, so they couldn't really replicate the panel where the side doesn't break the clothes but makes a big point through them. But like, still, it just fell super flat in the show. Like, Sigourney Weaver just makes a shocked face and falls over, and that's it. Back on top.
Hey, Sigourney Weaver was there.
Yay.
Oh god.
Who do you think played Ridley in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Oh my god. Your fucking white noise came back for all of that. What did you say?
I'm sorry. Who do you think played Ripley in the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of Aliens?
Do you think that it was literally that character since she's an immortal?
It could have been.
She's like, yeah, I dabble in Hollywood. Did you see me in Avatar?
Did you?
So, Ma, the only interesting villain besides Thanos, just dies like a bitch.
It was an okay death.
Dies like a bitch. And they save Steven. And Tony's like, okay, hear me out. We're going to ambush Thanos on his home planet because that's all we've got. And Steven's like, that's stupid. And Peter Parker's like, I'll say anything for a job. And so, and then Tony christens Peter as an Avenger, which I thought was a nice moment.
Yeah, it was. Oh, I guess it's also important to mention that Steve has this whole spiel where he's like, if it comes between you, the kid, and the stone, I'm picking the stone.
Yeah, and Tony criticizes him for that in that moment. He's like...
Does he?
Yeah, he's like, good moral compass you have there.
I mean, to be fair, it's kind of the smart move.
And this is kind of a theme in the movie, too, because earlier in the movie, when they were talking about... I'm I'm not sure if theme is the right word, but it's a running thing. Earlier when they were talking about blowing up Vision using Wanda's powers, Steve was like, we don't trade lives. We're not going to kill you to save a billion people or, trillions of people. And in this case, Steven is like, I will absolutely let you die to save trillions of people. It's like the opposite viewpoint. Those scenes might have been right next to each other.
No, I think they were separated a little bit.
But that's definitely a thing they set up through the movie. I guess it's the same thing with Gamora, too, where she's like, you have to kill me to save trillions of people.
And then Thanos is just like, I don't care, I'm going to kill trillions of people.
Honestly, I'm just collecting the stones to make this easier. If I can't, I'm still just going to go from planet to planet killing trillions of people.
I wanted to retire early.
This is
a hard job, but somebody's got to do it.
Like, I just want to move upstate, get a few acres of land, become a farmer, peaceful and whatnot.
That's exactly how the movie ends.
Yeah. That's also what he does in the comic. It literally just says he becomes a farmer. The end, more or less.
So do you think in the next movie Adam Warlock's just going to pop up? Like, I am here now.
Maybe because he was hinted at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
He had no presence in this one. I mean, you'd think that maybe during the collector scene or something, it's like there's a power coming. I don't know. I don't know anything about Adam Warlock. I just know he was in Infinity Gauntlet.
That's cool, but Beta Ray Bill win?
God damn it, Cody.
Actually, Dad said the exact same thing. Paraphrasing. But, he meant it.
Honestly,
like every time one of the Thor or like space movies happens, he's like, I wonder when they're going to do Beta Ray Bill. They need to put in Beta Ray Bill.
Honestly, this movie, I haven't read Infinity War. The storyline this is based off isn't actually called Infinity War. That's it's
called Infinity Gauntlet.
Different story. Yes, it's Infinity Gauntlet. I just know the basics of the Infinity Gauntlet story, and I can already tell you this movie has nothing to fucking do with it. Like, it is very much... It
loosely follows the, main idea.
Yes. It's Thanos collecting the stones to wipe out half the galaxy.
To getting the 7 Chaos Emeralds.
Have you seen that
thing?
Just
wanted to go fast, god damn it.
Have you seen that thing where Peter's like, so these are the Chaos Emeralds?
No, I haven't.
I'll send that to you later. It's really funny.
But there was one where it was a comic where Thanos was talking about getting the stones, and Squidward's like, so, the Chaos Emeralds? He's like, what? No, it's nothing like the Chaos Emeralds. It's like, think about your villains, or think about your opponents. And it shows the, Tony, Steve, Hulk, and Thor lined up in the silhouette of, Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and Amy.
Oh, good times.
So anyway, They crash land.
They crash land
on Titan.
Peter and pals are pretty mad.
Yeah, we kind of cut back to Wakanda to show that Shuri is starting to work on Vision, and they're starting to get a game plan rolling. They give Bucky a new arm. They're assembling what Avengers they have to be part of the defense.
The invasion kind of starts.
Yeah, but the main story is still over on Titan.
I think at some point we skipped the part where Thor's helping with the forging.
Actually, what I think is right here is Thanos and Gamora.
Right, this all stuff.
And that's
when Red Skull shows up for some reason.
Yeah, I was like, it's the guy. The fuck is Red Skull
for some reason? I thought that was fucking awesome.
Yeah, but it was cool, and in retrospect, they kind of set it up. But at the same time, I was like, why Red Skull when it happened?
I didn't see the Captain America movie.
Wait. Let's take a step backwards real quick, because I want to say this whole section of the movie is my favorite part of the movie.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it just threw me off.
Not Red Skull. I just mean the Thanos and Gamora scenes in the middle are, I think...
Oh, right, the part with the torture.
Yes, I think they're all the strongest scenes, because we get the flashback to Gamora as a child when Thanos meets her, which is a great sequence. And then there's her confronting Thanos, and we get a lot of Thanos' development as a character in these moments. Where, like, it's a very weird... I mean, he's weird. Because in the sequence, she's like, I hate you. I hate this chair. I hate what you've done. And he's like a patient, annoyed parent. He's like, yeah, I know you hate me. You're in your teenage years.
I'm almost 30.
Damn hip rock music and loud parties.
Exactly. He's like, I was just trying to make you strong. He's like, you're an asshole. And he's like, maybe. And so he's torturing Nebula, who's just here. Like, apparently she tried to kill him in between Guardians 2 and now. And he's been torturing her, and he accessed her memory banks and knows that Gamora knows where the Soul Stone is. And it's all just blah, blah exposition and a character moment for Gamora to stop him from torturing Nebula and give up. And so they go to the planet where the Soul Stone is. And here's where Red Skull shows up. And I knew it was him instantly, because this is going back to when I was like, not Idris Elba, when he died. As soon as Red Skull started talking, like before they revealed it was Red Skull, in my head, I was like, Elrond!
Oh, yeah.
I was immediately, like, that was my thought. I was like, Elrond! His voice is so distinct. Like, I didn't need them to show his face. Like, did you guys hear it too?
I actually didn't catch it until they actually showed him.
Yeah, like, I didn't... Because I
mean, the last time I saw Red Skull in a Marvel movie was the original Captain America. Well, not the original, but the original in this franchise.
Yeah, the first time I saw him was in the 1994 Captain America. But yeah, as soon as I heard him, I was like, that's Hugo Weaving. That's Elrond.
So do you think he's going to come back for Captain America 3?
Captain America 3 already happened, bud.
4.
So Red Skull is there. He's like the guardian of the Soul Stone or whatever, because it gave him the knowledge. And this is where the Tesseract shot him off to.
Why can he fly?
Yeah, he's like a ghost. He's like a ghosty spirit burdened with knowledge. I don't know. And like the funny thing is too, he's in 5 minutes. It's way better than he was in Captain America 1.
Yeah.
He's like completely abandoned even trying the shitty German accent he was going for. He's just talking like Elrond and just delivering exposition. Hugo Weaving is like Morgan Freeman, where I honestly believe he could read the fucking phone book and I'd be like, go. Like, I'll watch this.
Say your words.
Like, I love him. He could do anything. I'm like, yeah, it's Hugo Weaving. He's awesome.
But yeah, it's like if they get up to the top, it's like you gotta give up your love thing. And Gamora's like, ha, you don't love anything. He's like, whoa, and then he throws her off the cliff. That's the end of the scene.
I found this really interesting because I didn't know what they were going for with the writing. Like whether it was just that Thanos had to believe that he loved Gamora, or if him getting the Soul Stone is really proof that in his own psychotic way, he did actually love her.
I personally am of the opinion that he just thinks he loved her. Because if he really loved her, would she have been more important than this like quick cheat to finish the job fast?
Yes, absolutely. No, not more important, but this is his only goal is to do that. And I don't know. Like, I wasn't that surprised.
I mean, he was going to do it either way.
Yeah, but I wasn't that surprised he tossed her off a cliff as soon as he figured out he had to do that. Like, that just seemed like it was in character. You could see he was visibly pained about it.
It was in character, but his character doesn't seem one that can love.
I think he does love her. It's the thing, though, is that in his eyes, what he's doing is not evil as far as the evening up the galaxy. He's doing it because he thinks it's for the greater good and no one else can understand that this is what's needed. And so as much as he loves her, she is standing in the way of him achieving the ultimate goal and balance of the universe. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I know that,
but I think he did love her because it wouldn't have worked otherwise. Like, you can't obtain the Soul Stone.
Yeah, we know that. I'm talking about it. If he loved her as much as he claimed he loved her, then he wouldn't have tossed her off a cliff just for a quick, like a shortcut in his ambition.
I still think he would have.
Yeah, and I think that Cody is literally just saying he does think that he loved her. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He thinks he loves her, even though he doesn't really love her the way he thinks he does.
I'm just saying, like, straight up, I think he does. He does love her, but yeah, like it.
And this is generally something that I found interesting throughout the film. Because I don't know if it was intentional. I brought this up to you before, Paxton, and you said you didn't think it was intentional, but I kind of got the impression that Thanos is kind of a takedown of a lot of heroes in fiction that are like, I am the only one who can make these necessary choices, hard choices to do the right thing. Like, it felt like, for me, it felt like it was taking direct shots at shit like The Walking Dead with Rick Grimes and like Breaking Bad and like just shows like that where the main character. Which one?
I was joking. Because you make choices.
Oh, did you say Mass Effect?
Yeah.
But to me, Thanos really felt like it was really taking a shot at shows and media like that, where like they portray their heroes as these ones that make these tough calls where they have to be murderers to be good, you know?
Yeah, I'm starting to feel it more the more I like dwelled on it.
Cody, Cody, you have any thoughts?
You have an opinion?
Sorry, I spaced out for a second on the.
I was thinking of the shit.
Yeah, as far as him being the only person that can do things, yeah, I don't know. They keep emphasizing that. I feel like they got to the point where it was like, yeah, I get it. He's big and mean. He's the one that has to do the thing.
But do you think that was an intentional shot at other media that does portray their heroes in that way?
I don't know, because the thing about it is, like, I've only seen limited bits and pieces of those shows, but I don't know. I didn't. If it was something where they were going more referential or they were going on more about it and they structured it differently, I'd buy into that theory a little more. But it just seemed like they're just trying to establish that Thanos thinks he's the brilliant genius guy that has to be the one to do the things. But
instead of a direct jab, it felt like the logical conclusion when you took his death fetish out of the equation.
Yeah, that's actually a really. I mean, I really love what they did with him in this movie because I really feel like he is not the main character, but he is. I'm not really sure if there is
a revolution. He's the plot force.
Yeah, he is definitely the driving force of the plot, and he is probably the single character with the most screen time in the entire movie. And they really, I think that's part of why I love this stretch of the movie. It's about 20 minutes right here in the middle. So much is that there is so much development of him just right here. Like the beginning.
He's a very good example of a well-done villain.
Yes.
He's very empathetic, but at the same time, he's obviously the bad guy.
Yeah, I love that it isn't like like Killmonger was a really good villain, but the deal with him was that he was right, but he was doing what he was doing the wrong way. And Thanos is really interesting because he's fucking wrong, but he thinks that he's right completely.
Well, so I actually am really glad we were talking about this because I just brought this up in conversation with someone the other day. Marvel, I feel like, is getting to the point with the major villains where it's like you want to hate them, but they don't have purely evil intentions. Like Killmonger wants to bring Wakandan shit out to help his people who he sees as being oppressed. Thanos, despite the fact that he's basically committing genocide, is trying to bring balance. It's just a really fucked up way of doing it. So it's like you want to, personally for me, like you want to hate him for what he's doing, but he's not. It's different than like if you. Good. Well, it's not. It's different. It's like
charisma.
Yeah, it's like
he done talk good.
It's like if Johnny Hitler showed up and just like said, "I'm gonna kill everyone in the galaxy because I don't know, I want to be the only guy," right? Well, you're gonna hate him because it's a stupid fucking thing he wants to do, and he's just out. He's out for the bloodlust of it. Thanos doesn't inherently feel like, to me, there's bloodlust or like overt malice. It's in his eyes.
Thing, like in the comic, he wasn't also. It wasn't so much he was about bloodlust as he was about impressing this bitch.
Yeah, Lady Death. But
but that was still like an inherently selfish objective. Like I feel like him in the film is more interesting.
Yeah, because in the film, he feels less selfish about it. Like, again, killing half of the galaxy is a really fucked up thing to do. Don't get me wrong. But the reasoning for why he's doing it and the fact that it's not to impress anyone else as they portray it in the movie, because I don't think they're going to bring Lady Death in. I just think that it's not going to work. But
I wonder why they're not using Death.
I think it's too weird.
Yeah, what Alex said, I think it's too weird, and for the sake of narratives and storylines, it was easier just to go, this is Thanos, this is what he wants to do, these are why his objectives and why he wants to do it, or moving on. Because then if you're bringing in... Do you think
they realized early on that he was a more interesting character without Death?
I'm not sure, because I think when Joss Whedon threw him in, he was intending to keep his original motivation, because that was the whole line in Avengers, was he was like, to fight them is to court death, which made Thanos smile. So clearly in the beginning they were planning to, well, I'm not sure how much planning was in there, because I think that Joss literally just threw that in.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a safe to throw in there, because where else were they going to go?
Yeah, and it was early on enough that they got away with it. But I think they probably realized that it would be weird. But I don't know, because the thing of Marvel
fan theory, that's not the real Thanos that they showed.
Shut the fuck up.
That was like the comic Thanos that came out of the comic.
I will drive.
And that's why their skin color is different.
I will drive to your house and I will literally hit you in the dick. I'll do it live.
That's why the original is like dark purple and this one's like pink.
Just for reference, anytime
I think the original is lighter. Like the original one looked like pink to me, and this one looks like a lavender.
I don't care.
It's just not the same. But yeah,
we're gonna do a podcast about the movie. Also, Thanos' skin tone is slightly off, and I think that maybe he's the fake Thanos.
But yeah, like with
fuck me.
Like with the farm scene, like in the comic, he gets banished to the farm, I think. Like, don't quote me. I don't think it's his choice.
I had to go read up on this.
And he's like, this isn't really that bad.
I think he loses and they imprison him on a farm. And he's like, oh, fuck. And in the movie, I
remember he has like a line, like, I think the Warlock got the worst deal. Because, like, Adam Warlock absorbed the Infinity Stones or something. And he was just enjoying his farm life.
In the movie, it's literally like, I want to do this, and then I don't want to rule. I don't want power. I just want to do this because it needs to be done, and then I want to just go on my farm. Just retire. And I think that's so interesting. That's so cool.
I want to sit on my farm, watch the sunset with my my hallucination of my daughter that I stole.
So I looked it up. In the comic, what starts the series is Thanos snapping his fingers and killing everybody. That's how this one ends. And also in the comic that he's exiled after failing. So like basically Adam Warlock reverses all the bad shit that happened, gets the gauntlet for himself, takes his friends to the planet and goes, hey, you want to see some cool shit? And it's just like Thanos is now a farmer wanting to be left alone, and he has like fucking straw sticking out of his armor and shit. Like, that's how far he's fell. And then in the movie, it's like, hey, he's accomplished his mission. He's at peace. Look at my sunset.
So do you think the fake Thanos and the real Thanos are going to fight in the next one?
I fucking hate you. I'm going to come to your house and hit you in the dick. I'm just going to do it.
Well, then I'll pay you.
Fucking do it live on the podcast.
Okay, so Gamora's dead. Thanos has the Soul Stone. So I think it's at this point that the Guardians ambush Tony, Steven, and Spider-Man.
Is it that, or is it the forging scene?
I'm not sure where the forging scene is. I think they cut around unrelated to everything else going on. So let's just cover the whole forging sequence here.
Okay. So they go to the forge, and it's all like dead and shit, but it's supposed to be like the heart of the star. They go in, and fucking giant Peter Dinklage,
the
like
coolest shit.
Yeah.
I had no idea that he was going to be in this movie.
Yeah, he shows up. He's got iron hands because Thanos fucked him over. He's like, I can't forge shit. And then he forges shit.
I think it's funny because he is a dwarf, like a mythical dwarf, but he's giant. And he's obviously played by Peter Dinklage, who's a little person. Yes. And I think all of that is fucking clever as shit.
I loved it. So Thor is like, we need to start up the star. I don't know how that works. It's like they go out and they like run around on the rings, and like he throws the ship they came in on and uses it like a weight to pull himself. And they start spinning the rings, and they're like, okay, we can open up the star now. And then they open up the star, and then it breaks. And then Thor opens up the star manually and gets hit by the full force of the power of the sun.
I love that line too, where like Peter Dinklage, giant Dinklage, is like, that'll kill you. And Thor is like, only if I die. And Peter Dinklage is like, yes. That is what kill means.
That's one of my favorite things about that is his entire attitude is like, fuck me, I'm a mythical dwarf that can make these magic weapons. I'm surrounded by fucking idiots. I can't believe I'm going to do this. I can't believe this is the guy that supposedly is going to save us. But here we fucking go.
Every single person there had that attitude, though. Like, Thor was like, I can't believe I'm reforging Father's hammer with a fucking rabbit. And Raccoon's like, I can't believe I'm with a suicidal god.
Small rabbit.
Groot's like, Groot.
Giant Dinklage is like, I just can't believe that this is, you know what? Here we go. I'm just going to let it happen.
That's my legacy.
And they throw in a bullshit line here where like Peter Dinklage is like, the axe is even said to have bullshit powers to teleport you to the end of.
No, it was like it's being able to start a second ice age or.
No, it's like you can call forth the Bifrost with the axe. But it's literally just Peter Dinklage saying, this can send you to the end of the movie where you need to be.
Right, I got the Bifrost confused with the Frost World with the elves.
Oh, right, from Thor 1. Jotunheim, I want to say, because I can't forget things because I'm stupid.
I'm dumb, I know too much.
My knowledge consists entirely of pop culture references and not much else in terms of literal or figurative.
I can't remember how to eat.
But I remember Jotunheim.
I burn water, but god damn it, I can tell you
I can tell you about Yoda's entire race.
I can tell you that Yoda's race doesn't have a name. It's just called Yoda's race.
Just like Frieza's race.
Aren't they called frost demons?
Well, that was just like a throwaway thing.
Like lapis and lazuli. Never mind. Let's not get off topic.
Yeah, let's not go in
Let's not
a
go
new direction. Anyway, they forge the hammer,
which is a great
axe,
moment
or both.
for Groot. Like actually,
Yeah, he's like, oh shit, I got to put down the video game.
yeah, I liked that. And the axe is actually cool because I'm not sure if it's based on something from the main Marvel universe, but it looks.
I wouldn't know. I don't read Thor. No one reads
a lot like the Ultimate Comics version of Mjolnir.
It also kind of looks like Beta Ray Bill's hammer.
Does it?
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot bigger and it's a different color.
In the Ultimate
Beta Ray Bill has like the thin axe thing.
In the Ultimate Comics, Mjolnir has like a circle on one end that's like a hammer, and the other end is more axe. So when I saw it, I was like, "Oh shit! Is that the fucking Ultimate Thor hammer? That's cool." But I don't know. That might just be a me thing. I might be off.
Well, anyway, that's basically the whole forging sequence.
Which is also a great sequence. We kind of went through it really fast, and there's not a lot of like really.
It was really like spectacle wise, it was really cool, but there's not much to say.
Yeah,
like, nothing unexpected happens. No big stuff.
Yeah, there's not a lot of depth to it, but it's one of the more fun sequences. And I think I said this in my review that it feels like the only thing that can actually stop Thanos. So there's a lot of tension in this sequence.
Yeah.
It feels like the main thing that the good guys need.
And it almost does stop Thanos.
It does. If Thor had better aim. Or we'll get to that. So let's talk about...
or like it took half a second to like go for a second blow.
So at this point, the Guardians meet Tony, Steven, and Peter, and that's...
Have a little struggle.
Yeah.
Peter thinks he's going to get eggs.
Which is, it's an all right scene. It's just like the first Avengers where the good guys fight each other, so we get a good read of how well they fit together, like who's stronger than who. But I didn't really enjoy this scene a lot. It was just kind of okay.
Yeah.
It just kind of happened.
Well, at least it didn't last long. At least it was just like a quick thing to introduce them to each other.
It is literally like 30 seconds. Though, why is Gamora is a great line. So then...
Oh, go ahead.
This leads to probably the best action sequence of the whole movie. I'm gonna, even though it kind of cuts between them, let's save the Wakanda thing for the end. Let's just do that all together, and let's do all of this all together. So this is
Steven is sitting around. He's like, I got to look at the future. There's only one possible future where we went. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure you didn't forget that part.
That is very important, because that part was cool. Where you see him like vibrating,
twitching around and watching the future.
And so this is definitely my favorite action. What about you guys?
Yeah. Mainly because it was really cool, all culminating in the moment where they got him pinned down and they're trying to pull the gauntlet off.
I liked it a lot, but between it and Wakanda, I don't know if I had a favorite. I know the Wakanda one, you just had the sheer concentration of action, but I like that scene because it was more of an intimate action scene, if that makes sense, where it's just you're up close and personal. But
it was like Wakanda was a battle scene, and the Titan scene was a fight. And
part of what I like about it too is that I talked about this a long time ago with you guys with Age of Ultron, where I felt like the ending is just... I'm going to wait for your white noise to go away again. Okay, maybe cut that little bit. But back in here, with Age of Ultron, I thought that it was the ending's kind of boring because it just becomes a visual nonsense with them just fighting all the robots. And I really like this sequence because they're all fighting Thanos, and he's a singular entity, and he can handle all of them.
Yes.
Like, he's just him, and he's just beating the shit out of, like, 7 people.
And he's only using the gauntlet to, like, augment himself. He's not using it as a tide turner.
Yeah, like, it's mostly just Thanos in a fist fight. So the scene starts great, because it's just Steven and Thanos explains himself to Steven, which I thought was a great character moment. That he didn't just, like, punch him. He, like, tried to, like, make Doctor Strange understand why he's doing what he's doing.
Right.
And then they ambush him. And this fight scene is so clever too. Like, maybe it's just because they have Doctor Strange, so they can do a lot of weird stuff. But there's a lot of really cool imagery throughout this fight. I love when Doctor Strange is giving Peter things to step on so that Peter can make his run at Thanos. I love when Doctor Strange breaks off into like 1,000 of himself to attack Thanos. Tony's doing a lot of really cool shit with his armor, which we haven't talked about a lot. He has like this nanotech armor. I don't think we talked about it at all.
Yeah, I think that was a really good idea because it's like very visually cool and you can do a lot of just random bullshit with it.
Yeah, he can like break off pieces of it. He makes shields and blades, and like when he's getting on the spaceship, he makes like a focused super jet to get him out of orbit.
That was pretty cool.
I liked Thanos breaking off bits of the planet in the distance and using it as projectiles.
Yeah, pulling down the fucking moon.
Yeah. Fuck you and also you. Here's an entire goddamn planet.
This whole sequence is just fucking great. It's so cool. It's so visually interesting. It's so focused. It's so good.
And then there's that whole section where everybody in the audience is like, Peter, no. Peter, no. Peter, no. Peter, no.
Peter?
Yeah, so they get
But at the same time, I don't blame what he did at all.
No, I completely understand it. And there's a lot of people who are like, I can't believe. And I'm like, yeah, I absolutely believe he did that.
I might have done the same thing.
Yeah, I probably would have done the same thing.
Anyway, the thing is, he got mad because he killed Gamora.
Yeah, so they finally pinned Thanos down. Actually, even before this, one of my favorite moments of the entire movie is when Iron Man gets like a really good kick or something in, and they finally get one cut on Thanos.
Yeah.
And he's like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, he's like, all this to make me bleed, and I didn't even bleed that much. And it was in that moment that I realized that no one had been a threat to him for the whole movie. Like,
it's just a force walking through.
Yeah, like that and Thor hitting him are the only damage he took at all.
And Thor's weapon was specifically meant to be a Thanos.
It went away. Yeah, and so it's just, I love that because that was the thing that I thought was missing in Age of Ultron. Because I think that the whole army thing worked in the first Avengers because it was like a party. You know, it was just cool watching them fuck up that army.
Yeah.
But in Age of Ultron, it just didn't work. It was just...
Ultron himself should have been a bigger threat. Yeah.
It was just a bunch of nothing, and it wasn't as focused as that first Avengers fight. It was just shit happening.
Well, if Ultron was more like the comics, it would have been more like a background force that picked off the Avengers, right? Until he was strong enough to make his presence known.
I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't like the Avengers in the comics. I find them kind of to be boring.
Huh.
So I say...
Sturm is stepping away. Should we stop for a second?
Yeah, I say we pause here. You can either go ahead and stop this recording and so that it doesn't get too long and unmanageable, and start recording again when he gets back.
Okay, I'm pressing stop. Okay.
So, we took a small break here. I'm not exactly sure what the last thing we were talking about was, But
We were talking about how during the fight, like they brought down the moon and everything, and they finally get him pinned down. I think was the last thing we were talking about.
So Mantis uses her powers to make it so that Thanos is half asleep because she can't take him down all the way. His will is too strong. And so Peter starts interrogating him to try and figure out where Gamora is, while Spider-Man, other Peter, starts trying to pull the gauntlet off because he's like the only one with super strength here. And Iron Man is helping him with Iron Man suit. And when Peter realizes that Gamora is dead, he starts smacking the shit out of Thanos, and that wakes him up, and it fucks everything up. And then
it was going swimmingly until that point.
Yeah, they were barely managing to pull. And then Thanos beats the shit out of everyone, which this is another moment where I was like, oh, fuck, are they dead? Because Thanos sends out a wave of that purple energy, and it hits Peter, Drax, and Mantis. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, shit, did they just die?
By the way, speaking of placing the blame on Quill, isn't Mantis also partially at fault for just being like, oh, he killed Gamora?
Yeah, I guess.
Instead of being like, I don't know, he's just acting weird.
Peter, look over there.
Peter. Oh,
look, there's Gamora over behind that rock.
Why don't you look at it? Get the fucking gauntlet off. So,
I would have liked it if they did get it off, and then Thanos came out, and then he just fucked them all up anyway and took the gauntlet back.
Yeah, that would have been cool if they had done it that way instead. Instead, like, he comes back and like they get it off for 1 second, and he just like goes no, and puts it back on. And so Thanos then beats the shit out of everyone. Did anyone else think that fucking he killed them when he shot that purple wave, or was that just me?
Yeah, I wasn't buying it after the tracks, though.
Okay. Because when I saw that, it was another moment. Oh, fuck, did he just kill them?
He did purple shit before. It was just like a generic energy wave.
So then it comes down to a one-on-one fight, which is pathetic when it comes to Thanos. But it's a one-on-one fight between Iron Man and Thanos. And
Iron Man's using up his entire fucking suit just to do anything at all.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like, Tony's losing entire chunks of his suit to put force into every one of his blows. Like, he will lose an arm from his suit to put everything he has into a leg for a kick. Like, he's just giving it his fucking all. Like, it's
awesome. It's amazing.
And then
that's where he gets the cut on Thanos, and Thanos is like, oh, wow.
Which we didn't touch on this, but I think something that's interesting about this whole sequence, too, is that Doctor Strange and Iron Man are the only characters that Thanos doesn't treat like children. Like, he actively shows respect to both of them. Because,
well, Doctor Strange outsmarts him, and Tony fights like a fucking madman.
Yeah, and there's a line where like Thanos is like, I know you. I'm not the only one burdened with knowledge. Something like that. Like, yeah, because they had the mind connection, didn't they? In like the earlier movies. Maybe it's kind of vague. Because Tony talks about how Thanos was in his head. And Scarlet Witch like shows him the vision where everyone's dead. In Age of Ultron. I guess it's a little ambiguous if it means like literal or figurative. It's very vague, but I definitely feel like Thanos treats Strange and Tony differently from all the other characers. He treats them at least as intellectual equals. I feel like he would have given Captain America that same treatment because there's that like split second where he's holding back the gauntlet, Captain America is. He's like, oh, wow, this one's strong. Yeah, I'm honestly kind of pissed off about that. And I know that part of it is just that I'm a fanboy. But, like, Captain America does shit all in this movie.
I'm here.
Yeah.
There's a fight. I'm contributing. Is essentially his whole thing.
Yeah, it's fucking nothing.
I'm here as a convenient
He'll do
plot
more.
device to reunite the Avengers.
And like one of the only parts of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline that I know is a part where like everyone else has gone down and Captain America stands before Thanos and Thanos is like, you're just a dude. Like, you can't actually fight me. And Captain America is like, but I'm still gonna. Because he's fucking Captain America.
It's what he does.
And in this movie, that fight is literally that one shot where he's holding back the gauntlet, and Thanos is like, good for you, little human.
And then plap.
Like, Captain America doesn't do fucking shit. And like his reuniting with his best friend who's been deprogrammed is just, hey Bucky, how you doing? Oh, I got an arm. Okay, let's fight.
Hey, Bucky.
That's it.
You want to go shoot some shit? Yeah, I want to go shoot some shit. All right, you go ahead and do that, Bucky. I got these shield arm things I'm going to go do some stuff with. It's not like my shield, but it's kind of like a shield. Okay, have fun.
So anyway.
Yeah. Tony kicks Thanos in the face. Thanos plays like, okay, cool. I'll spare half your life. Your brace. And he's about to kill Tony. And Strange is like, what?
But now hold on just a minute.
I've got a plan. I'm not going to tell you, but here's the green rock.
Here's the green rock.
I did this cool magic trick and made it a star. I also am available for bar mitzvahs and children's parties, assuming I don't die.
And then he dies.
And then he died.
So Thanos breaks off part of Tony's armor and stabs Tony with it. And Strange is like, here's the rock, don't kill Tony. And Tony's like, what the fuck, dude?
I wanted you to do this earlier, but now I don't want you to do this.
This is the exact opposite of the conversation.
Have some consistency. You're a doctor.
Listen, I wanted you to save the kid, not me.
I've been trying to die for so long.
You can't.
Since like Iron Man 3, I've been ready to go.
Yeah. You didn't even save the kid. Like, not only did you fuck this up, you couldn't even do the original objective I wanted you to do. God damn it.
So Thanos gets the stone.
The one that controls time.
So now let's jump back, because they've been cutting back and forth between these scenes, and let's talk about the Wakanda sequence.
So Visions is up in the Wakanda Tower, and Smart Girl's trying to remove the circuits from the brain. And Wanda's there because as soon as that's done, she's going to break the stone.
Okay, pause. I'm going to grab my last beer.
I kind of wish I had a beer, but at the same time, I kind of wish I liked beer enough to have it in the first place.
I kind of want to go back to bed.
This would be way funnier if I was drinking Hurricane.
What?
What?
This would be way funnier if I was drinking beer and you were drinking Hurricanes. Hurricanes are that shit you had in New Orleans. There are like 10 kinds of liquor.
Oh, yeah, I liked that.
I need one good hand grenade, and then I'm going to...
It only took 2 fish bowls to get me off my ass.
I had one.
You're off your ass on the first fishbowl. The second fishbowl was me being dicky.
You sure? Because I don't remember actually thinking, oh, I'm drunk until halfway through the second one.
Oh, maybe. Anyway, let's cut back.
I'm a big guy.
Let's cut back in. So, the Wakanda fight. Wakanda has a big shield that protects it. It's a force field. Dome.
And so when Thanos drops the big blocks on it, they just kind of like break. And they're like, oh, where people are dying. Oh, well, we'll just drop outside the shield.
Yeah. And so now we have the surviving boring henchman. We have dude with no traits that I can remember. We have big guy who is the Hulk equivalent. And we have spear lady with horns.
That makes me horns.
God.
That's it, right? It's just those three?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
and a billion gross dog things that are actually pretty cool.
Yes. who work a lot better than the Ultron robots.
Yeah, my favorite was
Yes.
that was I definitely enjoyed the Zerg Rush. I was confused of which StarCraft match I was watching, but it seemed like an effective strategy.
I actually did really enjoy that. I liked that there was reasoning for them dropping the shield, because they were like, if they get all around us and they break through the shield, they'll hit civilians. So let's bottleneck them and make them come to us away from civilians.
I wonder how feasible it would have been to open and close the shield periodically.
I don't know.
Like let in a group and have them all like rush towards the opening, then close the opening and only open it again when they start spreading back out.
If someone could have been actively monitoring that, maybe, but I think that if they were just it was just too dangerous. I think they really wanted to contain them, and if like it was, Black Panther and he was in the middle of fighting and they had closed the dome, they could have spread too much,
Yeah.
So I did really like that there was a reason for why they did that, why the fight happens the way it happens. I like that there was thought put into that. They were like, we got to have this fight, but we can't just have it happen for stupid reasons.
And so they start breaking through. They open the gates. Nobody will get hurt. They all start fighting and being cool.
Yeah, I really like at the beginning of this too.
Can't go Hulk, so he puts on the Hulkbuster armor, which I thought was nice.
That was neat. I also like how at the beginning of the fight, like everyone's charging, but Black Panther and Captain America take the fuck off because they can just run so much faster that they are just whoop.
I also like Raccoon. Oh, well, that's a little bit later after Thor swoops in.
Yeah,
that's not long after.
That's a little bit later. I like how there's never really attention brought to Black Panther doing his energy dispersal thing, but he is doing it throughout the fight.
Yeah.
I thought
and whenever it's in the far away shots, you can see the purple explosions.
Yeah. And I think that this scene isn't great, but I think it works better than Age of Ultron because they really focus on individual characters at a time that we know and keep the focus on them for 10 seconds at a time so that you can kind of follow what's happening,
Little mini arcs.
Yeah. It's not as good as the first Avengers fight because the first Avengers fight really has its own 3-act structure in the fight itself. I might write an article on that because that fight is fucking genius. It's great. But this fight is definitely better than the Avengers Age of Ultron sequence.
Well, I liked it because it was I don't know. I like this fight, I think, out of all the Avengers fights for all the movies. The last one, just because it as a finale fight, I just think it was done better. It was more entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it just is. The Russos definitely, and on top of that, I just think that the Russos have a better eye for choreography than Joss Whedon does. Maybe they just have someone on their team who does really good fight choreography, because I think that, even from Winter Soldier, what is in the Russo brothers movies is way above all the other movies.
So how long does the fight go on before Thor shows up?
It gets to the point where you're like, oh, they're getting their ass kicked, and then here comes
Beam of Light.
Yeah.
I think that's the exact moment, really. It's when Captain America's down, everyone's kind of getting overwhelmed, is when Thor fucking hits the ground.
Yes. My convenient heroic entrance. It is time.
And this was I was pretty animated throughout the movie, but this was definitely one of those moments I clutched my fists and I was like, was when Thor showed up and was like, bring me Thanos. I was just like, yeah.
On that note, I love that part, but I was surprised that like he didn't come down and just kind of like wiggle the Stormbreaker and then vaporize fucking everything, because they built it up so much and it's like, oh yeah, he can go take like 10.
I started going through them in droves.
I know,
True.
like
No,
true, but he lands and he just starts swinging it. Lightning's like destroying 20 of them at a time.
I feel like they were like, hey, we got this great idea, we're going to do this. And then I felt like they were, and while like they were making the movie, go, wait a second, he's going to eliminate too many of these guys too quick. Make him slow down a little bit. Make it look like he's doing a little bit less. Like, I feel like
my assumption was it was all power and not enough radius.
Yeah. I also would have liked to see him just do like the equivalent of a lightsaber throw that just never stopped. Like, I know he did that, but I just was like, it'd be cool just to see him do it. And he's just like, hey guys, and just there's an axe in the background just freaking ass. Like, you just see like
axe doing it on its own.
Yeah, like soft focus. It's just the axe destroying everything. He's just drinking a Mai Tai and punching some space alien in the face like 27 times.
It's like the same one.
Yeah, so like, what are you doing? I'm like, winning. And then it just cuts back to the fucking axe.
It is at this point, though, that this battle becomes like a party. Like, you know, like the Avengers movie should be, where it's like, this is just fun. Like when Thor shows up, they just start fucking up everything, you know?
15 minutes later, not fun.
Not fun. But for these 15 minutes, really fun. It's so fun, you know?
I really wonder what was going through Captain America's head when it's like, oh my god, Thor's here, and a raccoon, and a tree.
And
for Captain America, I think he was just like, oh, thank God, a tactical advantage. Because Thor is fucking up everything, which is like, I said that this is like 75% a Guardians movie. It's also like 20% a Thor movie.
Yeah.
Like Thor has like the first two Avengers, the first Avengers
then it's 10% a Thanos movie.
Yeah. The first Avengers movie is like Iron Man's the main character, really. And the second movie is kind of shared between Captain America and Iron Man, but Thor really has a big part in this movie.
Yeah, he kind of deserved it after Ragnarok being so much better than
the first two.
The other two, yeah. I mean, the original Thor was okay. It was just, it felt like a teaser almost. Like almost nothing happened. Yeah,
that's the main problem. Like I've grown to appreciate the first Thor more over time, but it really is just like 90% character stuff and like 10% plot. It's like it
wouldn't have existed if they didn't feel the need to set him up for Avengers.
It's like a movie of filler.
Yeah. Speaking of filler movies, did anything significant happen in Iron Man 2? Like that contributes to this? Because I just know it's like Mickey Rourke shows up and then War Machine.
No, that movie sucks.
Yeah.
I like War Machine. No.
I just was thinking about that. I was like, literally, it just established, hey, look, Don Cheadle is War Machine. Thank you. Moving on.
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of odd that Iron Man 3 does more for Iron Man as a character?
Isn't it kind of weird how like a lot of people hate Iron Man 3, even though it's very much the best Iron Man movie?
I liked it.
Huh.
I liked it a lot.
Like a lot of people are really down on Iron Man 3, and it is the best Iron Man movie, easily.
They might just have nostalgia goggles for Iron Man 1.
Iron Man 1.
I don't think anyone's comparing it to Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 1 is 70% a really good movie.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3 is just really fucking good. It's really fucking good, you guys. And I don't care that the Mandarin's not Asian, and I don't care that there was a fake Mandarin. I thought that worked really well. I really enjoyed it.
I like that's the main part of the movie, Tony being smart.
Alex, fuck you. Iron Man 2 had Mickey Rourke, and he did some shit where lightning shot out of his nipples or whatever, and I personally think that may be the best one.
I really hope that some bitch comments on this, because I will fight for days on Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 is fucking good.
You think anybody's listened this far?
Probably. Nerds. So, this is at the point where the movie becomes a party, and it's just about all the characters doing cool shit. This is really where a lot of
the one still on Titan. or just sad?
This is a part where like a lot of the cooler shit on Titan happens too, where it's just like a lot of really cool sequences. And like you get Bucky.
I forgot that just because we talked about Titan, that it hadn't already happened. Yeah.
So like you've got like Bucky grabbing Rocket and they spin in a circle, murdering shit, and
they're best friends.
Yeah.
I like it. They go together in like color scheme.
I like the fucking line where Thor's like
that arm.
Thor's like, this is Tree, and he's like, I am Groot. I am Steve Rogers.
That was the most Captain America moment of the entire movie.
God, I'm really upset at how little Captain America does in this movie. I'll talk about a little bit later our hopes for Avengers 4, but I'm really upset with how little Captain America does in this movie.
One thing that bothered me that I want to bring up. I mean, I know it's just a thing that happens, but splitting up the fights based on gender, like Wanda and Black Widow all fought the spear woman.
I didn't really think about that. I was just too engrossed in what was happening. But now that you mention it, yeah, that's interesting.
See, I noticed it, but I really liked it.
I mean, sure, but it was like only the women should fight the women.
Well,
it's the vibe I usually get when that happens.
What would you want? Would you want Bruce to go over there?
I would have wanted like a big mixed brawl, like it was before, like 5 minutes ago.
Okay,
yeah, I would have been cool with that scene if it would have been Captain America and Black Widow too. But the reason, I'm okay with it just because it is the women fighting the women. I thought that was cool, but I think it's because I felt like Okoye, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but Dana Guerrera, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong too. The general from Black Panther, I felt like she was really underused in Black Panther, and I really liked her and Black Widow getting this moment together where they are these two really good fighters up against a really good fighter, throwing everything
that's a good point.
At her.
Well,
I thought that was
maybe to fix my problem. Another way to fix my problem will just be to flip the woman with the spear and the guy with the spear.
I don't even remember how the guy with the spear dies.
It was like
Vision stabs him in the back.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it was early on. Like
it was a callback to when he gets stabbed in the back at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that's why I didn't think of it. It's just because Vision just goes, "Hey, fuck you," and then he dies, and he dies really like mid to early on. I want to say, and then
it's like the very end because Vision doesn't show up until the last.
Yeah, it's like right before Thanos shows up.
So
it's like, hey, we're starting to win, and then Thanos shows up.
All the girls fight, and I love this sequence. This is one of my favorite choreographed fight sequences because it's a very like martial arts based thing. The Thanos' girl henchman with the horns fights Black Widow and the Black Panther general, and they fight, and it's really cool. And she dies so brutally. Like I made a noise when she died. Like when she got thrown up into the spinning wheel, I was like, ooh.
Oh yeah.
It's so brutal.
I leaned over and was like, that bitch is now hamburger meat. She just turned into cosmic hamburger.
She got fucked up. And during this, the boring big guy fights Bruce, the Hulkbuster armor, and like rips off the arm, and Bruce sends him up into the shield. None of that's that great. It just happens. It's not bad. It's just.
Well, actually, I really, really like the moment where Bruce is like, "Fuck you, I'll do it myself."
I liked that, and I also liked when he was like, "You may be able to beat the Hulk, but this armor beat the Hulk. So let's see how it goes, fucker." I liked that too. But overall, whatever. It didn't take me. I wasn't like, "Ugh, this sucks," but it was just kind of like, "This happened." And so then Shuri gets ambushed and she can't finish her operation on Vision. So Vision escapes, and then gets ambushed by Spear Guy. And then Wanda comes to save him from Spear Guy, but gets overpowered. I think this is what happened. And then Vision stabs Spear Guy.
Yeah.
That's generally what happened. And at this point,
Captain America was there.
Captain America fights Spear Guy. That's what happens.
Wanda goes out to help fight the Spear Woman.
Something happens. Spear Guy is boring. He dies.
He gets stabbed, and that's it.
That's what happens. And basically, all the Avengers who are on the field at this point, the ends, and Thanos appears. And he just fucks up all the Avengers that are in his path.
And he just walks in a straight line, and they're all just throwing themselves at him. And he's just like, oh, hi.
And he just like bitch slaps them. It's just like whatever. And
he gets stopped for half a second by Steve.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, I kind of respect you, bitch slap. And the entire time Wanda is blowing up Vision. Like she's like trying to shoot
killing
him
the man she loves.
Yeah. And I really
like it blows up, and Thanos is like, "Oh man, that sucks." And then he uses the time stone. He's like, "Well, anyway."
I really love the sound design here because it's basically all music, and I haven't touched on this at all, but especially for a Marvel movie, the score of this movie was really good.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's pretty consistent. I liked it.
The music was really good throughout, especially when Thor first arrives at the Forge. This is kind of just a me thing, but they tease a little bit of the Star Wars score. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like they just throw a little bit
of it. I noticed that too, but I thought it was just imagining things.
No, it is definitely the Star Wars score. I can't specify which scene it's from, but like it's just a little off to be original, but it is definitely like an homage to Star Wars. It was very cool. But the music is great throughout this. And during this scene, they basically cut out all sound effects and all dialogue, and it's just the music as Thanos bitch slaps all the Avengers as Wanda is trying to kill Vision to stop him. And then Thanos is just like, that was a good trick. I have time control. And
crap.
Just what?
Nothing. I said Kaio crap.
Thanos just brings Vision back to kill him and take the last down.
Just like grabs a chunk of his forehead. And Vision's like, oh my god.
Vision turns like gray, which hit me a lot harder than I thought it would. Because I knew that Vision was going to die from like the beginning, from like Age of Ultron.
And like seeing him lose life.
And like lose his color and his eyes going white. It's something in the framing of it, something in the way they did it. It really works. It's very brutal when it happens. Or maybe it being that what Scarlet Witch just did was fucking pointless. Whatever. It works. It's a very brutal sequence.
I think it's a combination of things. I definitely it hit me really hard just knowing well, this was a great plan they had, and then it wasn't, because I guess they couldn't have known that the time stone, Thanos already had it, and could have just be like, oh, that was a cool trick. Let me just, and then not have a problem with it anymore. And then she had to go through the trauma of not only doing that, but, oh, now he's just fucking dead. So it's like, it's twice as worse. And then, the way they did that was very gut-wrenching a little bit, because it's just like, well, he's not coming back from this shit. This is bad. He has no color. Everything is rapidly going to shit. And this is definitely a good sign that things are not going to go the way they want now or in the future.
Yeah. I mean, it's just brutal. And then he has all the stones. And Thor comes in and he hits him in the
This is where the movie loses me, because I mean, they start quoting the meme of the month. Like, where did that come from?
What?
I was joking saying that the movie ripped off the main movie.
Shut the fuck up. That was so stupid.
Anyway, this is where Thor comes in.
Thor! It was so fucking stupid.
That's all I know how to be.
So Thor comes in and hits Thanos. And Thanos is like, should have hit me in the head, bitch. And just snaps his fingers to kill everyone. And I really like
a really cool scene.
I really like this moment because I think it works a lot because of Thor as a character. Because I think that Thor intentionally didn't kill him to deliver that one-liner where he was like, I told you you'd die for this. And like, I feel like Thor didn't kill him immediately for the drama of it, and it backfired.
Yeah, I pointed that out when I saw it with my wife. I was like, I would have just fucking cleaved him, like clean through the face, because then it wouldn't be a problem anymore. Or like cut his fucking arm off if you're going to deliver a one-liner. Like, no, you had to know bad Thor.
Yeah.
Just kill him.
Oh, and Peter's the bad guy.
Like, I really feel like Thor purposely didn't kill him in one hit so that he could, like, fucking tell him that he killed him. I think it's really well written, but I think that it's a big character failing of Thor that he felt like he needed to drive it home.
And then Thanos snaps his metal gauntlet.
And
I actually saw people complaining about the fact that he was able to snap his fingers with a gauntlet, completely disregarding the fact that it controls reality.
Well, I mean, technically it shouldn't have made a noise. It should have made like a chink, but like whatever.
But if he wanted it to snap, then it would have snapped because it controls reality.
You're saying that Thanos did it for the drama too?
Yes.
Which, by the way,
That's
totally
exactly
a character for Thanos.
Yeah.
So then the movie just starts punching you in the fucking balls over and over again.
I really liked that scene or that bit where everything goes quiet with a flash of light and he sees baby Gamora.
Yeah, and actually, I, being a big fucking nerd, thought that was going to be death.
Huh. That didn't cross my mind for some reason.
Like,
maybe that is death, just taking Gamora's form.
Maybe, but like when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, they're actually doing the Lady Death. Like, this is going to be death. And she's going to talk with Thanos. But then it's over in like 10 seconds. I mean, it's good. But like, my expectations rose a lot.
I feel kind of like it's set up.
What?
I think it's set up. Like, there's going to be more to that in the next movie.
Maybe. But when I saw little Gamora, I was like, holy shit, that's death. And then it wasn't. Or maybe it was. Maybe Avengers 4 will prove me wrong. But I was like, oh shit. But that moment's good. I really like the rest of the movie. I think that the end plays out really well. I like how, I really don't remember when Nebula shows up. Does she show up during the Titan fight? I guess she does. She must hit Thanos a little bit, right?
I'm pretty sure she shows up, like right before Thanos shows up, or maybe right after.
No, she's in like the middle of the fight, towards the end, I think.
I guess in my mind, right after them.
But yeah, so on Titan, this scene is great because it's been really established since like Iron Man 3 how afraid Tony is of losing everyone he cares about.
And he loses everyone he cares about? Yeah.
Everyone who's with him, besides Nebula, who he spent no time with, disappeared.
He doesn't know who she is. She's just there.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, that sucks.
So, like, Drax and Manus go, and Tony's like, oh, fuck. And then, like, every line he delivers from this point is brutal. Like, when Peter starts to go, and he's like, Quill, don't go. Like, oh
yeah. Somebody pointed something out to me that makes that entire scene more fucked up. Is that so? Peter has spider sense, and so he probably knew he was dying because he took the longest out of everyone to disintegrate.
Yeah.
I don't think it was an accident. I think they were like, he fucking knew it. He's gonna go run to Tony for help. Tony can't help him.
Do you think that's what the "I don't feel so good" line is? Not just that he was disintegrating, but that his spider sense was telling him that he was going to die.
A friend of mine pointed that out to me, and I thought about it. And as gut wrenching as it is, I don't think he's wrong, because why did it take him so long? And how did he know? And why did he not feel good when everybody else sort of instantly just turned to dust? He didn't.
Yeah, they didn't know until it was already happening.
Yeah. So I'm convinced his spidey sense just overloaded, and he knew that he was going, and that's what that was, which makes it 1,000 times worse.
Yeah, that's brutal. Tom Holland.
I also like Tony's, you're going to be okay, kid. You're going to be okay.
Tom Holland kills the fuck out of that scene.
Yeah, I was thinking that too when I was coming out of the movie. Like, his delivery was very genuine. I felt like Spider-Man was dying.
I'm really surprised.
Not just that scene, but I felt like Spider-Man was dying.
Yeah. I'm really surprised there haven't been any memes where it's the 10th Doctor.
I made a post about that, I think. It was either on Twitter or on Facebook.
With the "I don't want to go." I'm really surprised. I haven't seen
that
any of
plus the regeneration fade.
I saw a thing that was a bunch of spoilers that have no context, and one of them was the regeneration thing, but I didn't understand what they were about. Another one was like the snap, the rabbit. It was a bunch of those, and it was pretty funny because I came back. I was like, oh, fuck you. These all make sense, and it makes me feel worse about this movie.
Yeah, that scene, that death, Spider-Man's death, is definitely probably the most brutal of the entire movie.
Well, and I don't think any other character could have died that way. I think it had to be Spider-Man 2 because, one, he's young.
That's Spider-Man 3.
Fuck you. We're not talking about emo Tobey Maguire here, okay? It's the good shit. The good. It fucked me up a little bit watching that. But then I also I thought about it a long time afterwards. And was like, there was no other way they could have shot that because it was there was no other character that could have happened to that would have had the same effect. Not a single one. No matter how you tried to shoot it, I'm not convinced that they could have made you emotionally invested in like Cap dying, whatever. That would suck. Anyone else dying would suck. But you have Peter
is one, a kid.
Yeah.
2, Tony's protege who looks up to him more than anything.
Yeah.
And 3, Tony has all that trauma about worrying about people dying on his watch.
Yeah. And
it was the perfect storm.
I think beyond the protege, I almost feel like it's Tony looks at him as the stepson or the kid he doesn't have. And that's kind of
that's kind of what I mean. They have a special connection.
And they even kind of planted that seed early in the movie. Because when in the one scene where Gwyneth Paltrow is there, he's talking about them having a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then she's like, nope, not pregnant. And then they're just like, all right, bye, Gwyneth Paltrow. Here's your $1 million. Fuck off my movie.
And I talked about this with Paxton after the last Spider-Man movie. Because we're all fairly young. I think Paxton's the oldest and he's 24, right?
Yeah.
And Tom Holland is the first Spider-Man for us that is really younger than us.
Yeah.
Where it's not, we relate to him as we could be Spider-Man, but as we see him as the child he is.
Yeah, it's the age gap. Yeah. We've hit the point, especially for us too. That's made it, like you said, it made it harder for me too, because I'm he's a kid to me now. So now it's there's a child dying, or a kid that's more than that. It's a kid that's probably on the edge of graduating high school, still in high school, is graduating. I don't really remember how they frame that at the end of the movie. And he has his whole life ahead of him being like Spider-Man, and he's just getting into his stride. And Thanos goes, nope, and then fucking kills him. Side note, I think he's probably my favorite Spider-Man in the history of the movie.
When the original Spider-Man movies came out, we were like
10?
younger than him.
Yeah,
5?
And
Holy
then
shit!
Amazing
we're
Spider-Man.
5.
I will. Yeah, I'll pull it up right now.
And well, I think we were like right in the same when Amazing Spider-Man came out.
Yeah,
Like,
when Amazing
Not
Spider-Man,
much older, not much
2002.
younger.
we were probably like 15, 16, 17.
During Amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
And like in the comics, he's like an adult in his 30s that has a company, and like in all the cartoons, we were young when they were airing, and so this is the first like Spider-Man that's really in our consciousness that is a child.
Yeah. Like,
We've grown up with Spider-Man, and he's an important existence to us specifically, but this is the first time we've seen him as he was originally seen.
yeah. Like in Spider-Man Homecoming, like I've seen a lot of people say that the moment where he lifts the doesn't live up to the comics, but him being like saying come on Spider-Man and thinking of Spider-Man as a different entity from himself, like something that
That's
he
very Spider-Man.
has to live up to. Yeah, it's very Spider-Man. And during that scene, it hit me really hard because I was like, yeah, kid, come on, fucking do it. Like, it was very much like this, like a child. I was like, yes, come on, you can do this. You can be
Spider-Man.
You can be who you're meant to be. And so, yeah, seeing him in this movie and thinking of him as just a kid instead of someone that I could be, it's the first time I've seen him as someone younger than and seeing him die is just brutal.
Yeah.
Because it's different. It's no longer wish fulfillment, and it's now more protective. You don't even know what you're doing feeling.
Right.
It's very brutal, and it's very different at our age to see Spider-Man in that way.
It didn't feel good.
It's
Not at all.
we're probably the perfect age for that moment
Yeah.
to like have that.
It's like all the old time Spider-Man fans have like seen the like new movie and him stopping the train, and they had their emotional moments. And this is ours.
Yeah, this is the moment for people who are around us, very early 20s, to be like, holy shit, Spider-Man's just a kid.
Yeah. Tom Holland plays it well too. Like he has that like rambunctious energy that a kid of his age would have.
And
Tom
Holland's younger than us. Like the real person is younger than us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that moment hit really hard. I mean, a lot of these deaths hit really hard. I mean, when Bucky starts to disappear and he lets out that one, Steve.
Yeah.
That was rough. The like I am Groot, the last one, as he fades away and Rocket like breaks down is really hard.
Oh shit, Rocket doesn't even know that the rest of the team's gone too.
No, he doesn't. Nobody cares about War Machine. But Don Cheadle
said that they were like,
I care about
buddy, where are you?
Don Cheadle also dies. Scarlet Witch was also kind of hard because, I mean, I'm a big Scarlet Witch fan, which is another one which is like not a lot of people are, but I'm a big fan of hers. But also, Elizabeth Olsen gets this great look on her face, like she's almost glad that she's dying because she's like holding Vision's body as she dies. So she's like almost happy that she's also dying, that she doesn't have to live without him. So that was also rough. Who else fucking dies?
Well, like everybody.
Holy shit, Black Panther. That one caught me completely off guard.
Yeah. I was like, wait one fucking second. No.
Oh, you killed the black guy?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, we get one good movie and you're going to kill Black Panther off. Fuck you.
I know.
Fuck the Russo brothers. Fuck that movie. Fuck Kevin Feige. Fuck Thanos. Just fuck everything that happened.
That's what caught me off guard. Because, I mean, obviously they didn't know when they were writing the movie, but Black Panther just made $1 billion fucking dollars and they killed him? I was like, holy shit!
And then after credits, there's people just disappearing in the streets.
Which, by the way, is one of my complaints. Like, I feel like they should have gotten a lot of the side casts of the solo movies so that they could show like other people disappearing. I feel
just like a montage.
Yeah, I feel like there's not a lot of like on the ground shit, you know? Like we see a lot of main characters disappearing, but I thought it would have been really interesting to get a lot more stuff like that after credit scene where you just see random people, you know, in their lives.
I would like to see Bilbo Watson pass away.
Just disappearing. Like I felt like that would have been really disturbing.
Yeah.
You know, like a mother pushing a pram and all of a sudden the dust.
Oh, that reminds me of like, I think what might have retroactively been my favorite part of the whole movie was Samuel Jackson almost getting a motherfucker.
Yeah. And he just dusts. I was like, all right, I see what you did there. But
that was really clever.
Yeah, I thought that was fucking hilarious. I laughed really hard at that. I don't know if I'm supposed to, but I thought that was hilarious.
No, you were definitely supposed to.
I thought that scene was really interesting too, because like it starts with a car crash because someone in the car who was driving just disappeared, and then you see a helicopter crashing, and I was like, holy shit, how many things across the universe are people just dying from crashes? Because people just disappeared, or in the middle of surgeries, or just like all this shit where people are just disappearing.
Yeah, the secondary
other deaths.
I had thought about that. Like, what were the secondary ramifications of what Thanos did? Like, I really like how they did that after credit scene because, like you were saying, it would have been cool to see more happening to make it more impactful. Like maybe a wide angle of like a city, and then you just see people one by one start turning to dust or something. That would have been cool. But I also think the credit scene was fine, maybe the way it was, just because it was restrained in what it showed and how it showed it. And it sort of got you to think, oh, fuck, this is happening. This is the result of Thanos doing his thing with the jazz fingers. And now there's shit falling out of the sky and cars crashing. And the world's probably going to come crashing down because of this. Like, it's all grinding to a halt. There is no positive outcome.
And I thought the Captain Marvel reveal was a little neat. Just seeing the little symbol.
I liked that. It really harkened back for me to Phase 1, where the hints to what was coming were a lot more subtle.
Yeah.
Like seeing Thor's hammer.
Instead of just, hi, I am Captain Marvel. I will be in the next movie.
Yeah.
Instead it was, this is the Captain Marvel symbol, and if you don't know it, you'll just have to wait and see what it's about.
Yeah. I really like the end sequence. I have minor complaints. I wish there was more not directly related to the Avengers appearances of people disappearing, but
I would have liked to see like maybe a shot of Luke Cage or some like Netflix or TV characters disappearing.
That's never gonna fucking happen.
Or like Phil, the agent Phil.
That would have been great. Kill him again for everyone following the fucking show. Holy shit, I didn't even think about how there's going to be like a whole season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now. I wonder if people are going to be disappearing from their show. That'd be kind of cool.
I was actually talking with Dad about that, and apparently the week before the movie came out, they introduced a whole bunch of random characters.
Oh, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, all the new guys. Here are your red shirts. I mean, right, your parts. Yeah, just hang tight. I honestly don't know if they're going to address it, though, in, like, the extended universe. Like,
Agent Phil, get the Roomba.
That's really annoying to me, honestly, because I watched the first season and they handled the Hydra reveal really well. Like one of the main characters of the show turned out to be a Hydra agent. And for them to just bring in a bunch of red shirts for not Age of Ultron, for Infinity War is just kind of
maybe I'm actually wrong. I mean, I didn't talk to him that week, so I don't know what really happened.
I really hope that they took out a couple of the main people for
Yeah.
this, because that would have a lot more impact, and that would be a lot cooler.
But remember, that'll last like what, 2 seasons, 3 seasons?
Just one. This Infinity War is coming out next year.
Oh, next year. I thought it was 2 years out.
Personally,
I was thinking of Star Wars, I guess.
I don't think they're really going to address it though in the shows and stuff. I don't know. I feel like
Probably not Netflix, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. tries to tie into the movies as best they can.
But so my question of that, because I haven't really watched it, does it tie in heavily, or is it like, oh yeah, did you hear about the fucking Vulture guy? Oh, crazy, and then just move on, like, or is it?
Well, it depends on how world impacting it is.
Does it show fucking Phil Coulson showing up and be like, God damn it, the Spider Kid and this fucking old dude?
In the seasons I watched, they would at least give passing mention to the movies. I haven't watched the last 2 seasons, and right now I think they're in space, so they've been able to kind of ignore the movies.
They've been focusing a lot on like the Inhuman stuff, right?
Yes, they have been doing a lot of the Inhuman stuff, and in fact, that's partially why they canceled the Inhumans movie and made it an Inhumans TV show that crashed and burned. Was that they had touched on that storyline so early, and it felt like it was taking a long time to get to the movie, so they just pulled the trigger, and then the show doing very.
I don't know. I don't personally think it's going to be heavily referenced in any of the stuff that's not the movies, because you've now effectively killed off half of fucking everything in the universe, and so then you're putting all these writers in a tough position to go, oh, hey, half our fucking characters are gone. Great, let's just cobble together something and make it seem sensible. But, like,
You think Captain Marvel's just going to take Captain Warlock's place?
Maybe. I know that her standalone movie is set in. It's a prequel.
Yeah, it takes place in the 90s, and she's fighting aliens. Like, they're not aliens. She's like in the middle of a war between 2 factions of aliens, I believe.
Yeah, it's going to be the Skrulls and whoever the Skrulls fight. I can't remember what they're
Fantastic Four.
Yeah, they're taking those Fox properties, and that's
what the movie's about: getting the Fox properties.
It is.
The Skrulls are infiltrating for corporate espionage,
and yeah, that's going to be the movie. Is going to be something to do with the Skrulls and her, and it's in the 90s, and Nick Fury is going to be in it. That's everything.
Is he going to have both eyes?
Yes, that's literally what I just said.
You broke me for a second on my head.
Yes,
I just say
will have both eyes, and that's everything I know about that movie. So I can tell from a writing standpoint that they left all the original Avengers alive, and I hope Hawkeye shows up for Avengers 4 because he's completely missing from this movie.
Yeah.
But all the original Avengers are the people who are left at the end of this movie. So I can tell that that's what the deal is with Avengers 4. It's going to be...
Is the main lineup.
Yeah. It's going to be their big finale. Is everyone who was there in the first movie.
Do you think they're all going to die?
I think at least... I'm going to say Captain America and Iron Man. Those are my predictions. Is at least those 2 die.
I would not be too surprised if Thor died, because he's kind of lost everything.
Thor gets a happy ending.
I want to touch on that right quick, right? So assuming that Thanos does only kill half of everything, right? Like half of a planet's population. Like, he kills half of everything, but as we talked about earlier, like maybe that you can factor it out where it's just half the population of each planet. Wouldn't they only showed the one ship from Asgard? Wasn't there other people? Like, I don't know if Valkyrie is.
No, it was just one ship.
No, okay. It was just the one ship, and Thanos killed them personally. He killed them all. That wasn't even the glove.
I was like, because I feel like maybe there's still some Asgardians.
Like, he knocked them down, cut their heads off, and slit their throats.
Yeah, like, I think the Asgardians are just gone.
He slit their throats barehanded.
He just used his finger.
He just like wiggled it on them, and they just like split open.
Yeah,
finger guns.
Maybe Thor will die. I definitely know that Chris Hemsworth is done after Avengers 4, so maybe Thor will die. I kind of hope that he won't.
Yeah, but then
Bruce will probably die.
Bruce?
I'm kidding.
What?
I said probably not.
I hope not. I think that Hulk will stick around because he just hasn't been used that much. I hope that we've got a bit more of him, you know?
What if Raccoon dies and then everybody else comes back?
That would be fucked up.
You ever seen The Rabbit? Yeah.
So, yeah, we've kind of reached the end of the movie. Do you guys... one thing I want to say is that after Thanos did the whole, thing, the glove to me looked like it was fucked up. Looked like it was, burnt. So I kind of think that it's not going to be used at all in the next movie. I think that it's not going to be able to be used, which I think will be
Maybe not the glove with the stones.
Maybe. I'm going to be kind of interested. I think it would be more interesting if they got away from the gauntlet itself in the next movie.
I'm still convinced they're going to use it to resurrect everybody that died.
I definitely think that everyone who got turned to dust is going to be resurrected. I'm just probably through the stones somehow. I just hope the gauntlet is not a big thing in the next movie. I hope they move away from it to really make the next movie its own thing. Because I think that if they do, they've done a pretty good job of making this a mostly self-contained movie where it doesn't feel, to me at least, like half a movie. It feels like everything that was introduced in this film paid off in this film.
Yeah.
Do you feel
Well, that's Infinity War.
Yay!
Do you feel differently, Paxton?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just feels... I guess I'm an idiot for being so convinced, but I can't imagine them doing something other than just magically fixing everything with the gauntlet. I think I watch too much anime.
I mean,
I forget how good stories are written sometimes.
They might just pull the gauntlet again, but do you feel... More what I'm asking is, do you feel like this is a satisfying film on its own? Do you think it stands by itself?
I think I wouldn't have been that interested if I didn't watch all the movies leading up to it.
That's fair, but I'm more talking about the conclusion. That's more what I'm getting.
No, I kept feeling like there should have been more. Because I didn't feel like there was no falling action. It was just goal accomplished, movie over.
Okay, so anyway, Infinity War is good.
Yeah.
It's
Fun
very
movie.
good.
Hot trash.
They really did a good job. I'm really excited for Avengers 4.
What the hell is that?
And
Paxton just died.
Paxton dies of cancer.
Oh, get to see Paxton dies in Infinity War 2.
All right. I hope you enjoyed Three Idiots talking about nerd shit.
Fuck you, it's a podcast.
It was a good movie. Fuck you, podcast.
It's a podcast.